Hi, everybody. This is our Tiara Talks, and my name is Andrea Henning. I'm one of the Tiara Global Leaders, and with me today is Dr. Alison Miller, also one of the global leaders. And it's such a joy to have the opportunity to talk about topics that are always dear to our heart. And the topic today that came up is about creativity and leadership. And Alison, you already have given me a couple of key points that are so interesting. You are talking about how well-being is tied to this source of creation, this creativity, how our nervous system is tied to that, and maybe you also have found an example for that. So could you just tell a little bit more why you think that this is such an important topic, creativity and leadership?
Well, I think it's really important that we recognize that we actually are creative beings. And in our culture, we tend to see creativity as more of something that's artistic, or you write nonfiction, you're a poet, you're a painter, you're some kind of artist, you're a musician. And I think we often don't think of ourselves in leadership positions as actually what we are is highly creative. You think about your solving problems, coming up with solutions, looking for novel ways to respond and communicate. I mean, it's highly creative to figure out how to manage your own responsibilities and influence and lead a team of people. I mean, being influential as a leader, highly creative.
Yes.
And I think the beautiful thing about creativity also for me is remembering that as a leader, I am the leader of like my own actual life. I am the creator, the head designer in a sense. And while I actually don't have control, because none of us do, we don't have control over how other people behave, and we don't even have control over the results that we're aiming to produce. And as we talk often about in the Tiara leadership model, the true leadership model is that what we do have is we have influence. And so I think that when you begin to think of yourself as I'm a creative being, I'm the head designer. How do I want my days to unfold? How do I want to choose to lead and interact with other people and communicate in the world?
Mhm.
How do I want to be if I could choose among all options?
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
important. It's so important to take that time to step back and actually get present to your vision,
Mhm.
which is an act of creation. So that now there's something to practice aligning yourself with over time.
Yes, exactly. It's the aligning yourself with over time, and also when you are training your connection, this ground in yourself. Also, we are no longer victims of circumstances. And circumstances happen all the time. We see that, but we become a lot more grounded in something that gives us access to this creativity. And this is also the reason why it is so important that we take care of our nervous system. Maybe you want to say a little bit more about that from a also psychological standpoint. Our nervous systems, our why are they so important?
Well, to be able to step back in the way that we're talking about, to be able to is really about being able to almost take a seat inside yourself,
Mm.
settle down, step out of the doing, step out of the pressure,
Mhm.
step like when almost like the energy of when you go on vacation and you can look back and be like, wow, you have a different reflection because you're not in the doing and the day to day. We
Yeah.
need that space to step back where we can have a calmer, more regulated nervous system of like, hey, how do I want my week to unfold?
Mhm.
Do I just want to react all week long and be like a pinball in a machine, responding and reacting to whatever emails as they come in and putting out fires? Or do I want to actually be the head designer of my life and plan how my days go and set aside time for email
Mhm.
and really actually get up in the morning and do something that helps me feel connected to myself so
Yeah.
that my emotions and my thoughts aren't in charge of how my day goes. I am in charge. I am creating, I am designing how my day goes. That's impossible to do when we're emotional and upset and overthinking, we're in a dysregulated state, the dysregulation will continue to be in charge because it's trying to soothe itself by getting things done. But
Yes.
that actually doesn't work.
Exactly, exactly. So there's a lot of good things in being conscious, huh? Being conscious, moving consciously through your day, and being intentional about it is part of that consciousness. So, and especially in this time, as probably all of us will relate to, is there's so much overload in our nervous system. I
Yeah.
just come back from Iceland, and Iceland is as if you are on another planet. And I could feel my nervous system calming down because it was not prickled all the time. And of course, I cannot always go to Iceland to do that, but I can do little things every day to calm myself and to replenish myself from that, in order to be creative, especially when problems are showing up. And
Mm-hmm.
what I also think about leadership, yeah, it's leading your own life. So the personal leadership is very, very important. But one of the other reasons that we have put our well-being dimension in leadership and in the influence distinction, is that we need to care as leaders. We need to take care of ourselves, because when we are not connected, it has a huge impact on the people that depend on us, that trust us also. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the most potent things that any human being could do to be able to influence the quality of their own life
Mm.
is to make the regulation of your nervous system your number one priority.
Yeah.
Everything else in your life, your relationships, your leadership,
Mhm.
your physical experience of being in a human body,
Mhm.
like everything in your life is going to work better if that's your number one priority.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then we get out of the reactive mode into the responsive mode, and there's so much wisdom in responsive modes, and so much drama and repetition in when we are being reactive.
I want to say one little follow-up thing for everybody about that.
Yeah.
We're talking about a vision of a life where you choose to trust that I cannot control life,
Mm-hmm.
but I do have the capacity to regulate, step back inside myself, sit down in my own heart,
Mm-hmm.
and choose how I will respond to difficulties when they come. And I'm going to choose to trust that instead of living a life where I'm constantly bracing against something bad happening.
Exactly, exactly. It feels to me as if this is a great ending of our talk. We can talk about a lot of things there, but just what you said as a final is so good to take at heart, and maybe we inspire you when you watch this to pause, reflect, step back, and check in with your nervous system. How are you doing at the moment? And maybe you're doing great, and maybe you feel this overwhelm, and you, because this is the thing, when we pause we also feel how we really are doing. That's why we then
Mm-hmm.
avoid to pause. But
Mm-hmm.
just do that. Check in with yourself and see if there are some adjustment necessary or not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for watching this, and we will post this, and you can always reach us at tiararesourcecircle.com or tiaraleadership.com, and on our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page. So wherever you want to find us, you can direct message us if you have a question about it and if you have a comment about it. So we are always happy to hear from you. So for now, have a great weekend and have a great next week.
Thank you.